What is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Oh gosh, I don't want to. Now I think I'm probably going to give a cliche answer, but be the person you wish somebody would have been to you.
My name is Django. I grew up in a small town, but always felt the universe pushing me to do something monumental. In 2010, I was working at the drive-thru of McDonald's for $7.25 an hour. Fast forward to today, and I'm the co-founder of a multi-million-dollar technology agency. This is the Django Show, where I interview founders of successful companies and expose the how-tos of becoming a successful entrepreneur.
What up, what up? It's your boy Django, host of the Django Show. I am so excited to be here. Our guest today is my good friend Mahogani. From massage therapist to legal assistant to dance instructor and special needs teacher, there aren't too many jobs Mahogani didn't try in her 20s. Hence why Gary called her the taster during her Tea with Gary Vee episode. In 2020, she left her corporate job to pursue her artistic dreams full time, and she is one of my really good friends. I met her because I reached out after seeing her on the Gary Vee show, and she has been absolutely incredible to have in my corner. I am so excited to have Mahogani on the show today.
Hello.
So happy to have you.
I'm so honored and delighted to be on. I really, really appreciate it.
Of course. It was really cool. I mean, we were talking right before and you were telling me that we are about 1 year tomorrow from you being on Gary Vee's show. I'd love to hear how you like being on there.
I think back and I feel like in so many ways since that interview with Gary, it's changed a lot. I have built my resilience for the trolls on social media. And one thing I really took to heart, which was something that Gary didn't mention during my interview, but just something I kind of like always kept in my mind, was don't get high off your own supply and don't take shit personal. Like, do not get so gassed up by what people are saying. Like when people tell me like, oh my God, your art's amazing. Oh my God, you're like, okay, thanks. Oh my God, like your art's so horrible. Okay, thanks. I take it either way because at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to make it. So I know what goes into it and the work that it requires versus somebody who just comes up with an opinion with 2 seconds of thinking and looking. Like, no. So definitely built my resilience up on that end. Confidence, oh my God, willing to listen to my inner guidance, Holy Spirit, or God, whatever you want to call it, like, and just following through with the instructions. Because literally, I don't think I've ever discussed with you, and this will probably be the best time, of how I quit my corporate job. I literally, it was about a month of me just feeling like, okay, I'm like fed up with this job. I had been at it for about 3 years. I was done. I was worn out. Even though I was working from home because of COVID, I was just like, I don't know why, but I feel like I gotta leave. At the same time, I'm like, why would I leave? Like, no way. Like, this, my little Christian mind automatically was like, oh no, it's the devil. It's the devil trying to tell me to quit my job. I was like, I got benefits. I got a good salary. Why would I leave? And sure enough, I had a friend come into my life for a season who was also encouraging me to leave because she saw how my art was progressing. And I was staying up. Even though I was working during the day, I would stay up at night to paint and get like 2 hours of sleep 2 nights a week, just so I could make a lot of paintings, post them. And eventually I kept trying. Gary Vee. I've been trying for 3 years to get on that damn show. And finally, it was like 7:00 in the morning on a Thursday. I messaged him and was on Twitter and was like, hey, I just want to shoot my shot with Gary. Like, I want to get on the show. I have a question. And he's like, shot landed. Dude, I was so new to Twitter, and I still don't even have that many followers on Twitter. But I was so new to Twitter, I never knew what the notification looked like for DM. And my first notification on Twitter was from Zane Gaziani, who works for Gary. And it was like, hey, here are the times. I'm like driving my kid to school. I didn't even see the tweet back from Gary. And I just started bawling in the car. I got my kid in the back seat, and she's like, Mom, why are you crying? I was like, it's so happy tears. And she's like, you're crying because you're happy. Her little 4-year-old mind just like did not. She's like, what the hell? What?
For sure.
He's like, that makes no sense. Like, you should be smiling if you're happy. And literally that after I dropped my daughter off, I was already late for work that day. I drove back. I called my boss up and I was like, hey, it's Thursday, but tomorrow's my last day.
Wow.
I did not give him 2 weeks. I was like, that was all the confirmation I needed. Like, for some reason, and it wasn't like Gary was giving me a job. It was just, it was like, I can achieve whatever I put my mind to. And regardless of how impossible it might seem, because people have been trying, millions of people try to speak to the man. And I got it. And I'm like, you know what? There's something here. And I'm going to go ahead and just bet on myself. And I did. And it was scary as hell. So fucking scary.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, like, I feel like I heard a lot of different things in there that I feel like people can take things from. But, you know, I was reading a book recently, and one of the things I heard was they said, if you think that you can't, it's true. And if you think that you can, it's true.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, in a weird way, whatever it is, and if you really think on it, everything that you believe because it's been true in your life. Like, whether it's
Right.
I have to work a job, whether it's I'm an entrepreneur, whether it's I'm this, that, fat, skinny, working, whatever it is that you truly believe about yourself, it's true. And so for you, having that shift and then saying, you know what, I'm out, like, that takes, you know, a lot of guts to hit that shift. So, like, when you first quit, I know most people's journey is not necessarily easy. For you, like, once you quit, did you immediately kind of start hitting the ground running, or was there like a little delay? How did that process go?
Oh, no, it was basically like from the time I quit until the time I had the interview, it was like a 2-week window.
Okay.
And so, like, it was more motivation for me to like make more art and get stuff ready. And I wanted like my background for where I did my interview to be full of art. But the interview didn't exactly, I think I had gassed it up in my mind to be like, oh my God, everybody's gonna buy my art, all my shit's gonna sell out. Like, no, and it did not happen. Like, I didn't sell a single piece of art because of it. I gained a lot of connections, and it brought me so many great friends, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I also hit a lull in selling art because I bumped up my prices a little bit after, about a month after, into the fall, like around October. And I was just like, oh my God, like, did I do the right thing? But I found myself in real estate school, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll just focus on this, and that'll be like my big girl job. And like, but I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I went in January to try to take the test, and I failed it. And I took that as redirection. I was like, you know what? I can't count on this real estate money coming in anytime soon. So let me just go make some art real quick because I need some money. And I did that, and my brother was kind of like at me because I told him, I was like, yeah, I mean, all I gotta do to make some money is go post some posts up about art and go make some art. And literally, that's simple. It just was that simple to me. And I did. Sure enough, things kind of took a turn in March of this year when I made I thought it was going to be just, oh, wait, this is an awesome flag for my former manager. The irony, the Mexico flag. Seen all around TikTok, 360,000 views.
Wow.
It kept me busy with commissions from March till May.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I started doing so many of the same size canvases that were like 15, like by 30. Everybody wanted like Ecuador. I had an Ecuador flag I had to do. I had several Mexico flags I did. That's why it seemed like I just was doing them all the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing that switch. I mean, it's pretty incredible, like, just staying focused. I like recently was at my good friend Greg Reed's house for this prosperity camp, and Dan Fleshman was there, and he was talking about with social media that with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everybody's always trying to find like the tricks of the trade and how everyone can see your stuff. But he was just like, post every day.
Yeah.
Every day on everything. And you don't know which thing is going to actually get seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So, and then that's so true, because with TikTok, as you probably already know, like certain sounds can be the one to like make your video viral, and some sounds are not that great, whatever. But, and because I have my account set up as a business account, I don't get access to like all the music. They took all that away because of certain regulations or whatever. Because I'm selling stuff, they don't want me to attach artists or whatever to it. And I remember being so sarcastic while I was making the TikTok and doing the voiceover, I was like, yeah, this is a video of me putting the top coat on the Mexico flag. I did it for my former manager. You know, if you guys could just like comment your horoscope sign, your birthday, you know, something. I'm just trying to get the views. I had like literally less than 200 followers. I woke up the next day, I kid you not, crust in my eye, half asleep. And first thing you're not supposed to do is look at social media. That's the first thing I did. I rolled over, looked at social media. I had like 80 comments, 1,000 new followers.
Wow.
I don't know how many thousands of likes. And it stayed like that for like a week. And it was just a high, and I was riding. I was like, wee! I was like, I'm gonna ride this high till and enjoy every minute of it, because it lasted about a week, and it was amazing. I even made a video like kind of tracking the progress and screenshots of like every time my follower count went up, and I was just like, whoa, like
that's incredible. I mean, TikTok is incredible in the way that it has the ability to really go viral just from the right content, the right video.
Yeah.
Instagram is pretty tough to cut through the noise. Like it's not easy to be seen, net new people. I mean, if you use Reels, sometimes that can kind of kick off, but outside of Reels, and even then the algorithm is tough. It's just not easy. But TikTok, you just don't know which video is going to be the one on TikTok. Like it, like you said, it can be the one where you're being sarcastic and just kind of being yourself, and then all of a sudden, it's blowing up.
It's gotten to the point where now on my videos, people ask me about my daughter, because my daughter was in that video when I was doing the voiceover. She was yelling in the background. I was like, oh yeah, that's my daughter yelling in the background, because, well, I'm a mom.
Yeah. Well, you know, to take a step back, even talking about like daughter. So for you, you know, one of the things I hear from people all the time, and I know I used to feel this too, is like, well, I can't quit because, you know, I have too many responsibilities. I have this, I have that going on. I don't have enough money saved. I don't have this, I don't have that. For you, having a daughter, it couldn't have been easy kind of making the leap and knowing, you know, at the end of the day, there's someone who needs you at the end of the day, right? Like at the end of the day, she needs you to be kind of coming through. So for you, as you were thinking about like quitting and doing things, I mean, what maybe gave you solace as you were going through some of those tough times, as you knew, you know, you had to take care of everybody?
I mean, at the end of the day, I had been homeless before. Not at all a situation I would ever want to be in ever again, and I'm determined I never will be. But because I knew what it took to get me to that bad of a point, I knew that I wouldn't let myself get to that point now. And I have way too much of a support system now than I did back then to see through it that, you know, if I needed help, I asked. And that's something that I think for the longest I struggled with. And I still kind of do every now and then, because I would like to kind of forge my way through the wilderness and, you know, carve my own little path and not ask for help. Because there is like a sense of accomplishment, I feel, when I don't ask for help. And, you know, like there's a bill coming up and I didn't install a painting and I figured it out, you know? So yeah, I'm just very, very blessed that I have my family, and living with my family has been a gigantic help. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, you know, I think a lot of times when we're watching the stories on Instagram or watching other people doing things, we don't actually see the journey and what the support system is that people have. I just read Steve Jobs' book, and, you know, he was out of his parents' garage. Read about any of these people. I mean, very rarely is someone going from I don't know if I've ever heard a story of someone from beginning to end not reaching out for help. And I had Levi on yesterday, and he was talking about how he had the same challenge. Like he didn't want to reach out. He didn't want people to think he needed anything. But once he started actively doing that and reaching out, he started learning new skills, new things that he could do. And that helped him out a lot in his journey of being, you know, an entrepreneur. So I would say that that's probably the biggest things for people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, is to remember, like, none of us are too good for help. All of us are needing.
Exactly. That's so true. And I think what we don't think about too, and this kind of takes me back to when I was a new mom, like infant. But oftentimes we hear, okay, yeah, somebody should ask for help if they need help, but we don't stop and think about how the other person actually wants to to help? Like, how good does it feel to be that person that helps someone else? And to like that sense of like, oh wow, I did a nice thing. But I came across that. I think I started really kind of chipping away at that when I was a new mom, and I'd go to the doctor's appointments and this, that, and the third with my daughter, and I'd be by myself. It was just me. Like, it's been me and her for a while now. And, you know, I am struggling with the baby carriage, and she was heavy, and the baby carriage and all that, and trying to get into doors and like, opening everything up myself. And people would stop and like turn around and just open the door. And I was like, oh no, I got it. And then finally one of my friends stopped and said, you have to let people help you, because not because you want the help, but because they want to help you. And then it's so true, because then when I stop and think, oh, like, I don't want to be a bother, but then to the other people, like, how many times, I mean, I'm from the South, so like down here we hold the door open for people all the time. Like, somebody come up behind you, you hold the door open, and like, it's something so simple, but I'm a firm believer that how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're willing to ask for help in the small things, you'll be willing to ask for help with the big things.
Yeah. No doubt. I 100% agree with you. And on top of that, anyone who's had any real success most likely had someone help them, and they were probably told to reach back. So, you know, it never hurts to ask. The worst case scenario is just no. Like, someone says, hey, I don't have time.
Right.
Or, no, I can't help you. Then, you know, it is what it is. But at least you asked. Best case scenario is they give you some information that you didn't have that changes your entire life, you know? For you, so the first couple of guests we had were pretty focused on like technology and real estate. And for you, you're creating art. And so, you know, you see a lot of art on TikTok and Instagram, but what do you think, you know, if someone's out there who is trying to create art and trying to be different, like, what did you do that you think kind of helped differentiate you so that, you know, people would buy your art? What kind of things did you try? And, you know, what do you think has maybe helped with your success?
Oh gosh. It took me a while to get into my little niche I feel like I created for myself, but like, I feel like I'm the time lapse queen. Because now I've seen so many of my friends start doing time lapses of their art. Because people love watching those. Like, sitting there and watching somebody just make art for some reason, it falls under the oddly satisfying category, and people love that. Storytelling, explaining the process. And with explaining the process, I had to let go of that like scarcity mindset that, oh gosh, if I explain how I'm doing it, like somebody else is going to do it, but they're not going to do it like me.
No,
they don't have my hands, they don't have my brain, like they're not going to do it like me.
Sure.
And but I really just love explaining how and why I make what I make. Like, for this summer, I made a lot of like blue, pink paintings, and that was like my summer collection, and they damn near all sold out. I got like all but 2 at the house out of like 8 paintings. So they did pretty good.
That's so incredible. I mean, the cool part about art, and I think sometimes about the process, is like, we only know what we know. And so to some extent, you start to think of yourself as someone who like isn't that special. I mean, for me, at least, like with my technology and building apps and stuff, sometimes I forget that like everyone doesn't know how to do it. And some people are interested. Or some people want to just hear about it and learn. Maybe they don't even do it themselves, but just seeing the process is beautiful. And with art, especially, like, I love watching your TikToks. I follow you, and it's cool seeing it, because I mean, I just feel like in a million years I can never do it, but it's so cool to just see the way that everything kind of comes together. And I'm excited when I'm watching it, and watching the flags that you're making, or watching you spin the thing around, and it's just like, I'm like, wow, this is dope. I don't know how you see that beforehand, but like, way to go. Like, so, just for a personal level. For you and kind of your journey forward, what kind of things are you maybe hoping to do with your art? Like, what's next for you as your kind
NFTs?
NFTs? Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I've golly, since last year, I've had people like, you do NFT, you do NFT. All right, now. When I release them, you better go buy them.
So you're working on this right now?
So it's a concept I have, Django exclusive, if you will. Go ahead and see some license to this thing.
Okay.
So it dawned on me that I love doing time lapses, and I'm like, why the hell not release 3 original paintings and the time lapses of them be the NFTs? Because that is so me. Like when I stop and think about like my Instagram or think about my TikTok, that's all it really is a few giggles here and there.
Yeah.
One random picture of me actually putting on makeup and a lot of time lapses. So that's what I'm gonna work on releasing in the fall, tied in with clothing, tied in with apparel, basically. But so the vision I have for the apparel is gonna be basically like taking the painting, putting it on a shirt, a sweatshirt, but more fitted to where it's not just like a rectangle going to turn it on. And then actually still adding paint. So like it'll have splatters on one side. It's really hard to explain if you're not a visual person, but I see it in my head. I really do. So I'm very excited for that. And then
do you have someone you're partnering on to help create the NFTs right now?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, I know some people, a bunch of people who've released NFTs. So like afterwards, I will reach out to see if they commission their NFTs and then try to see if I can get them in contact with you so that you can see the process for building those out. Because the event that I went to, I met this guy Super Buddha and a few other people who have done like their own NFTs in the past, and so there's a couple different companies that are kind of going through the process of helping artists commission NFTs. So I will I'll reach out and help you do with them. It will be glorious. Your idea for the NFTs and shirt sounds absolutely amazing. I think that it's going to be a hit for sure. And the cool thing about the NFTs is you get kind of paid on them forever. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that with the painting, you sell it once and then that person just has it. But as you sell those NFTs, and if something blows up or whatever the case is, like every time it would sell from then on, you can get a little piece. So it's like the new way for artists. I can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I try to ask a couple questions at the end that are, a little different. If you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him or her?
Make more art.
You've always been making art?
Oh God, yeah. My mom, I'm so blessed that like back in high school, they supported my art business endeavors. More than like staying on me about my grades. But I airbrush t-shirts back in high school.
Oh, there.
Yeah, and I've had these, like I think about going back to it, but it's not cheap to get started. It's like I guess I could probably make it in like 2 art shows or something, but like the airbrush, air compressor, the paint, the shirts and all that, it adds up. Yeah, but I miss it. I still have some pictures. I'll have to post them now. You got me thinking about it.
That's a class. I mean, like that was when you were in high school, like the early 2010s.
Yeah, I graduated 2009.
Yeah, I graduated 2010. I feel like everybody had at least one like airbrushed, t-shirt, whether it was like Tweety Bird on there or some, oh man,
your name in cursive.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man. What's the most important thing you've learned in your life, and what was your life like before learning it, and what was your life like after learning it?
Ooh, that's a great question. My thoughts become things, and my thoughts manifest. And how I feel is important. I feel like those two things coupled together have been, absolutely pivotal for me in kind of, like jumping into my 30s and turning the ship around and getting it to go a direction that's more appealing to me. Not just jumping from job to job because it was a bigger pay raise or it was more money or this and the third, but doing what I want to do because I want to do it, and that's what makes me happy, and trusting that God is going to provide for me through my God-given talents. It was still working on learning it more, but
for sure. I was listening to this podcast about mental toughness from the Beautiful Mind podcast, and he said that we are a carbon copy of all the thoughts that we've ever had in our life. Like we think of thoughts as if they come in and then they go, but every thought that you have is like, electron in your brain, and it's in there forever. It bounces around. So if you stay negative, if you stay down, if you stay, you know, saying that you're not good enough, or I mean, I have plenty of friends who are just always down on themselves. There's
Oh my
no
God,
way
yeah.
that those thoughts aren't going to just stay floating in there, and that carbon copy is going to be looking out into the universe to further prove that that's who you are, and just
Right.
further just putting you farther down. But when you start to like vibrate at that level of positivity and you're looking for the opportunity, it's just incredible what can start happening. And like we said earlier, if you believe that you can't, you can't. If you believe that you can, you can't. So it's like,
Exactly.
it is just so incredible. So obviously, kind of hearing that, I feel like I've heard that in so many books. What are your top 3 books? You know, if you were to say,
Oh,
hey, you know what? These are the books you got to check out. These changed my life.
oh gosh. Without a doubt, the first one would have to be Marie Forleo. Everything
Okay.
is Figure Outable.
Oh, wow.
That book was probably like the last self-help book-ish that I read. That was it. Like I was like done. She had a very clear way throughout the book at the end of every chapter, like asking you questions, and you literally would have to write stuff down. And I had the Audible, so I had to like go home and do it, and
Yeah.
because I would always listen in the car. But yeah, like I remember I had this crazy aha moment. I don't think I'll ever forget it. But like she said, write down like the top 10 excuses of why you can't do whatever thing. And at the time for me, it was like why I can't sell art and why I didn't believe in myself. And this is probably like March of last year. And then she's like, go back and write 2 reasons why that is a piece of shit lie. And I don't have the time because da 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 da. Well, I can make the time if I put my daughter to bed. I can make the time if I don't procrastinate, if I don't watch Netflix. And then the aha moment for me hit when she said, okay, now you have the reasons to why you can do it. Now go do it. I was like, oh wait, I have to do this now. And like I literally was like, whoa, I cannot hide behind my excuses. Like I have to do it. That's one. Really love that book. I would have to say, what's that other one? Chop Wood, Carry Water. I cannot remember the name of the author, but it's a really good book. Chop Wood, Carry Water. It's basically a guy who leaves the U.S. to go to Asia to train to become a samurai archer. So like it's crazy. I love it. It's so insane. But it's a very easy read. It's a conversation for the most part between him and his master, his sensei, and it made me fall in love with the process, which I had for the longest a very hard time doing. There's like one amazing takeaway, and that really got me out of depression for a little while was writing a list of 50 gratitudes, because that's what the sensei said that he did every day, 50 things you're grateful for. I was like, what? But I can't hit 50 things every day. But that's the goal.
Yeah.
And that literally, I mean, gratitude is like the highest vibration, of course. So that's huge. One other book. I'm trying to think. Those have to be probably my top 2 favorites.
It's all good. We can just do 2. It's no big. I mean, you gave a lot of game. I've never heard those 2 books. So the first one was, what was it called?
Check them out. Everything is Figure Outable. Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. Amazing.
And then the second one is Chop Wood,
Carry Water.
All right.
That's what they had to do. They had to chop wood so that they would have fire, and they had to carry the water because they didn't have no plumbing. It was
okay. I mean, that's a good 2. I mean, normally, you hear the same ones, the Think and Grow Riches and all the others.
Oh God, yeah, no.
What is your? Oh, actually, before we do that question, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh wow. Okay, so an old friend of mine who committed suicide, Gria, actually got a hummingbird tattooed because of her. Her, Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah, strong one.
And my paternal grandmother.
Okay.
Raimunda, who passed away. Yeah.
It's a solid 3. That is so far today for the questions where we always get the same answers. You've just been hitting us with like different all over the place,
Try to be different,
No doubt. The last question, the one I like to leave out on is, What is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Oh gosh, I don't want to. Now I think I'm probably going to give a cliche answer, but be the person you wish somebody would have been to you.
Mm.
So, like growing up, I didn't really have a lot of people that were out doing different things and trying to be, entrepreneur or trying to have a business or being kind just to be kind, So that's really what I like to lead by, especially as a mom.
Yeah.
Be the person you wish you would have had as a child.
Yeah.
But be that to everyone else, because ultimately we are all kids.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and some of us run around, and what I always love to say is a lot of us run around throwing temper tantrums because we don't know how to use our words and express our feelings.
It's so easy to be treated bad and then in turn start to treat others bad because you went through the same thing. It's an easy thing to fall into, to just say,
Hurt
hey,
people,
what?
hurt people.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing to show the world. But that's a great way to think about it. If we were all doing that, I mean, the world would be a pretty beautiful place. You're right.
Mm.
Well, I want you to be able to tell the people how they can find you, how they can buy your art, how they can get connected. So feel free to let the people know.
So I'm basically Mahogani Studios on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook page, mahoganystudios.com. I am not taking commissions this month, but I will start back up probably in October. Because I've got some things I want to work on and create myself. So had to hit a pause button after doing commissions for so many months.
Yeah, you were doing a ton of.
I was tired.
Yeah.
I was tired. I was like, if I make one more Mexico flag, I'm gonna just lose it. But it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I mean, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really loved having you. You were an absolutely amazing guest. And for episode 3, like this, I couldn't ask for a better episode 3. So thank you again for being here.
That's my favorite number too.
Oh, incredible. It had to be. There's no way around it. So thank you everyone for tuning in. This is the Django Show, episode 3 with Mahogani. Have a good one.